What's going on?
There's something wrong with the feed.
Pull the bumper.
Hi, I'm Joe Dante, and I'm taking over Shout Factory TV. Well, in the late 50s, all us kids were very excited because there was a huge wave of grade B science fiction movies being made. We're all used to today the persistence of zombies in our pop culture. In the 1940s, they weren't quite so ubiquitous. In 1954, Richard Matheson, who was a very well-known writer, wrote a novel called I Am Legend. Join me for my film Inferno on September 3rd. And now back to regular programming.
Oh, we're back.
Wait, was that Joe Dante?
In 1954, Richard Matheson, who was a very well-known writer who had contributed to Playboy and had written a lot of science fiction short stories, wrote a novel called I Am Legend, which became quite popular and was serialized. And it portrays a world in which a virus has caused human beings to mainly die, but when they die, they come back as sort of vampire zombies. It was popular enough for Hammer Films of England to commission a script by Richard Matheson in 1958. However, once they saw the script, the British Board of Film Censors told Hammer there was no way they were going to pass this movie. It was too gory, too violent, and they would just forget about it. So, not to be deterred, Matheson took the script and sold it to Robert Lippert, who was a producer who often worked with Hammer. And Lippert managed to find a way to get the picture made several years later in Italy. And it became The Last Man on Earth. It's not an expensive film. It is probably, of all the adaptations, and there have been several, and there's Omega Man, and then there were a couple of other I Am Legends over the years, this is the most faithful version of the story. However, Matheson was not happy with it, and he decided to take his name off the script. But he kept a pseudonym, because if you take your name off a script, you don't get any residuals. So he used a pseudonym and was compensated. And over the years came to appreciate the movie, I think, slightly more after seeing the other movies made out of his material. It stars Vincent Price, who I think Matheson felt was miscast. But it's a very interesting picture, partly because it's shot in Rome and the locations are just so weird. It's a sort of futuristic, strange world that's hard to even relate to. But the real key to this picture is that George Romero admitted that it was very influential to him, and it infused a lot of what became Night of the Living Dead. And when you see this movie, it'll be very difficult to not conjure up images from Night of the Living Dead in your mind and say, well, I guess George was, onto something here.